Hey now, we are getting over, and I am the Silver King, Adam Silverstein, here to lead you through these hard times. That it, with your 2026 WWE Royal Rumble instant analysis. That's right, Getting Over is back once again, just minutes after the 2026 WWE Royal Rumble went off the air and the road to WrestleMania 42 officially began, and we are here not only to break down everything that happened at the Royal Rumble, but some straggling stuff from WWE SmackDown on Friday night, which was the go-home show, of course, to the Royal Rumble. Vintage Chris Vanini will be with us momentarily, but as we get started, allow the Silver King to remind you that the Getting Over Wrestling podcast
is all about Defy.
So head over to Apple Podcasts and Spotify, leave a 5-star rating on Apple, take a little extra time, leave a 5-star written review. If you do, we will read it live right here on the show. Also, don't forget to follow us on social media at Getting Overcast on Twitter and Blue Sky. You get episode drops, news, analysis, highlights. You can send in questions and comments for the show. We will read those on our Royal Rumble second look episode when we talk the whole week in WWE this coming Tuesday. You also get to vote in pre- and post-show polls surrounding premium live events and pay-per-views like the Royal Rumble, and we will be discussing those grades at the end of this instant analysis podcast. Beyond Twitter and Blue Sky, you can subscribe to us on YouTube, also at Getting Overcast. You can listen to the episodes, and you can watch full-length video interviews that we conduct across the board on social media at Getting Overcast. Now, as I welcome Vintage Chris Vanini into the show, we're going to do something that has not been accomplished in a long time on this show. We're going to crack open a cold one. And that sounded like a fart. It was not. It was Silver King opening a bottle, which does not happen. I usually have cans. I also am usually drinking craft beer when we do this special for the instant analysis, but we're not doing that this time. We're going traditional. We're going classic. I have a Yuengling classic lager in my hand. I believe Raw is in Philadelphia on Monday night. This is from Pottsville, Pennsylvania. So we're going traditional American here with a Yuengling. Chris, what do you got over there?
I've got a Sucker Punch from Three Nations Brewing here in North Texas.
You love your Three Nations Brewing.
I do. They're good. They're local. It's also all I had left over because I was unable to leave my house for literally a week because we were frozen. So that's what we got.
It's kind of wild to say about someone in Texas. I wasn't able to leave my house for a week because it was frozen. I mean,
No, I went skating in my backyard a few times, though.
That's ridiculous. By the way, have you ever been to that brewery, or is it just a place that sells locally and you like?
Yeah, no, there's one right near me, actually.
Oh, cool.
Like
nice.
Literally down the road. They opened up like a year or two ago. It's great.
Nice. Now, we would usually banter here at the start of the show, but a couple things. One, it's an instant analysis. Two, we actually have some stuff from SmackDown to talk about. Three, Silver King wants to go and actually have a Saturday night, considering the show ended around 6 p.m. Eastern. Now, as I said, we integrate SmackDown go-home segments match by match. We usually do it within the instant analysis, but two stories were basically mashed together so quickly. Let's cover what happened at the top of the men's division before we get into this full breakdown of the Royal Rumble. So Cody Rhodes opened SmackDown getting loud ovations, but when he suggested winning the Rumble for a third time, those cheers immediately turned to no chance. And you know what?
Thank you!
Hey, a good crowd is a good crowd. He shouted out Sami Zayn, hopefully beating Drew McIntyre, pointed out that a potential CM Punk match has been a long time coming. Randy Orton interrupted, getting a long-ass entrance, reminding that he's also won twice and the Viper is focused on number 15. Jey Uso then sprinted his ass down to the ring. His entrance was surprisingly less than half as long as the others. He did his call and response. The Vision then interrupted without music. Paul Heyman got an STFU chant. He responded in Spanish. I thought that was pretty funny. Basically saying, no, the Vision will ensure Braun Breaker wins. Typical stuff. Then Nick Aldis came out and made an 8-man tag team main event. Playa. Very ruthless aggression era segment. Really, it was a total waste of 30 minutes from a content standpoint. The fans absolutely love seeing their favorites. Sami came out as part of that opening segment. He said he has a chance to conclude 3 stories on Saturday, finally winning the WWE Championship, finally beating Drew McIntyre given his 0-11 record, and remaining undefeated in Saudi Arabia. McIntyre later said Zayn is indeed accomplished, but he remained stupid putting himself in a tag team match 24 hours before challenging for the title. Drew then promised to do whatever it takes to retain, questioning whether Sami can say the same. Zayn needing to lay out his story so specifically just 24 hours before the show made me feel better about McIntyre retaining. I figured it was crystal clear how otherwise rushed this would come across if he did win the title. And lastly, we had faces against the Vision in the main event. The heels attacked before Rhodes entered. That allowed the fans to sing his song as fighting began. Michael Cole did a better job explaining Austin Theory's changes here than at any point since he's returned. Orton's hot tag was loud. He hit Theory with an RKO broken fall. McIntyre then forced a disqualification by pulling Zayn out of the ring. Jacob Fatu attacked him from behind, so Cody went after Jacob. McIntyre lined up to hit Rhodes with a Claymore, but Zayn caught him with a haluva kick. When he stared down the WWE title, Sammy and Cody grabbed it simultaneously, only for Breakker to spear both of them and end the show on top. The match was like a fun live event house show fashion bout. Sammy standing tall certainly would have been a giveaway to the contrary. Him grabbing the title alongside Cody had me thinking what we brainstormed over the last couple of weeks, a 4-way for the WWE Championship, maybe a triple threat. That might be what we actually get at WrestleMania. So Chris, all in all, SmackDown, it was largely a situation where it could have been an email, but these guys did get mega responses. And ultimately, I liked the way they brought the McIntyre-Zayn storyline to the front, because that's a pretty big match that otherwise felt as an afterthought on this card.
Yeah, you give them a good main event with all your stars. You give us a good enough go home for you had to have a Drew Sammy thing because Sammy just won the #1 contender last week. So good way to wrap it all up.
And by the way, real quick, I promise you the instant analysis is coming up right now, but I do need you to remember,
I happen to love the number 5.
and I sure hope you do as well, because for $5 a month or $50 for the entire year, you can become an official Getting Overhead. Just visit buymeacoffee.com/gettingover. Sign up. You'll get bonus audio, the fastest 5 minutes in professional wrestling, instant reactions to every major show, and exclusive news analysis posts every week. Again, buymeacoffee.com/gettingover. Support us as we continue pumping out performance-enhancing audio for your ear holes, not just now, but through this entire road to WrestleMania 42. You guys all know Getting Over Wrestling Podcast. We do it up right. All right, Vintage. Let's get into the WWE Royal Rumble instant analysis. We're going to break down all 4 matches, the results. We're going to give them grades, and at the end, we will give you a final grade for the Royal Rumble show in its entirety. The Royal Rumble kickoff on Friday, it was insane from a crowd standpoint. They showed out. They were loud as hell. Nothing happened worth repeating from a storyline standpoint, but the women were as over as the men, and they went insane for CM Punk, which made it wild that he wasn't even booked on the card. And it also made me think, maybe WWE should allow champions who are not defending on the show to be in the Rumble and give them the opportunity to choose their challenger if they win. It's just a thought. I figured it would be more fun with Punk involved. What do you think about that concept?
I like the idea, but the champion can almost always choose their opponent.
Not these days. Not when,
like
not when there's 2 #1 contenderships for the WrestleMania.
It feels like, but I mean, like if Drew was like, I want a championship. I mean, Cody was always just choosing to fight Drew. I mean, if you're the champ, you can kind of usually do what you want.
Oh, you're saying outside of WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Oh, got you. And then lastly, overall, the presentation for this show, it was quite something. As we said last week, there were no real concerns about the safety of the stadium structure. These things get built all the time. Legitimate concerns about the conditions of the workers doing it, obviously. The visuals were pretty sick, though, having a city set up on the stage and then a real city skyline behind it. Add in the screens, the LEDs, there were some drones. It was definitely a spectacle. I would say every part of it worked, except for them trying to replicate the Intuit Dome and putting lights in the crowd, which completely hid the fans. And you want to see fans in the background when you're watching a wrestling show. So that to me was a huge mistake, but every other part of it they nailed.
We don't need to go long on this, but you and I disagree on one point there. I did think the stage looked good. I like the tunnel that everybody came out. That was nice. I like unique sets for stadium shows, and that was good. The lights made the stadium look empty. It was not empty. I do not think it was full.
I don't think it was sold out. I agree.
They eventually sold out, whatever that means. They turned the lights off early on in the Women's Rumble when they realized how bad it looked, which I don't know how you don't know that. It's weird that it even came up. But when those lights were off and they were doing spotlights going around things, you could see, oh, there are people up there, here and there, and this and that. But there were still what looked to me like pretty empty spots opposite, I guess, on the hard cam side of the backside.
Yes.
To me,
I think hard cam, there was some gaps for sure. People were saying there were no fans behind commentary. That's not true. There were. The lights were so dark that you could not, like, the way it was lit was so bad that you couldn't see it. I think really, really close to the stage across from the hard cam, and then hard cam where the camera is, there were definitely gaps in seats. My understanding is that this was a 30,000 seat venue. At the beginning of the show, they announced a sellout of 25,000. Well, that's not a sellout, number one. So if there were 5,000 short, then that's what we saw. We saw a stadium that was 5,000 people short. Now, it is fair to point out that this show started and ended crazy late over there. Like
yes,
I want to say 2 a.m. it ended or something like that.
10 p.m. It starts at 10 p.m. local.
And it went 4 hours.
My understanding is because things happen at night there because it's so hot.
Right.
Like that's just how it normally is. And for TV purposes, it was like 7 o'clock UK time. So that was like the best time to get everybody across the country.
Right. So this went 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. So like, I get it to a degree. Like a lot of these Saudi shows are filled with kids. I did not see that this time. It was not the same type of crowd.
Yeah. They tried to show kids when the Bellas entered, but there was, I would imagine it's pretty tough to take your kid to a show like that.
It was a lot more young adults this time than there were in some of these other shows. And you heard it from the chants too. Like there were a lot of like smarky chants, which was pretty interesting. But my larger point, and you're right, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but the larger point is, was it sold out? Definitely not. Was it empty? Definitely not as well. It was somewhere in between.
The crowd was extremely loud.
They were loud.
To the Saudi fans, the people, the citizens of Saudi Arabia have become a very, very good crowd in recent years.
No question about it. Now let's get started. We're going to break down all 4 matches. Like I said, I know it took us a little bit to get there, but we're doing it right now. Let's start with what I believe was the biggest headline from the show. And that, of course, was the result of AJ Styles against Gunther. The stipulation here coming in, Styles must retire from the ring if he loses. Styles opened Hour 3 of SmackDown. The crowd was red hot for him. He told the fans not to worry about the Rumble because beating Gunther starts the phenomenal farewell tour. Then he named a bunch of people he wants to fight. Gunther interrupted in a suit, looking like he was an American frat boy, which I thought was pretty weird. He promised to not just beat Styles, but make him tap out. AJ shot back that Gunther is the one who tapped out like a little bitch. And though Gunther threatened, Styles thwarted him and kind of stood tall to end the show. So getting to the Royal Rumble. Styles got a ton of pyro in his entrance. I believe it was extremely similar gear to what he wore in his debut. It was at least the same color. He was shot out of a cannon at the bell until Gunther ran him into the ringside equipment. AJ's arm got gashed open, showing color. He followed with a sky-high back body drop and Boston Crab, Gunther did. Styles answered with a Pele kick and his signatures, including the knee neck breaker. Gunther escaped Styles' clash with a scorpion kick, hitting a shotgun drop kick and powerbomb stack for a false finish. Styles locked in calf crusher twice. Gunther rotated out into his sleeper. Styles at phenomenal forearm. Over the ropes outside, I maintain that is a more impactful version of the move. They don't sell it that way. Double reverse into a powerbomb for Styles, plus a springboard 450 and monster Styles clash for a 2.9. Gunther caught phenomenal forearm, but Styles reversed a sleeper before Gunther ran the referee into the corner for a mule kick, low blow, and a powerbomb. Another false finish. Gunther chopped the shit out of Styles until he was flattened in the corner. After AJ stood, Gunther did it again and murked him with some lariats. Styles wiped the chops off his chest, responded with a flurry of forearms. Gunther then caught him springboarding onto his shoulders, moving into a sleeper. Styles twice stalled it, and then twice came a fingertip away from reaching the ropes. He faded when he was reaching for those ropes at the end. The referee nudged his arm once, no arm raise, and called the knockout victory for Gunther, ending Styles' career. Production delayed Gunther's music so the moment could sink in, and then Styles kind of woke up a little surprised and upset, learning that he had actually lost. He received a thunderous ovation. He stood, removed his gloves, but he refused to put them on the canvas. Instead, he put the gloves back on his hands, did his pose for the crowd, then he left the ring only to re-enter for a celebration before again leaving and waving at the top of the stage. So first of all, we'll talk about the match, then we'll talk about the post-match after the fact. The match was phenomenal. It did come off as needing one additional sequence to truly reach that ultimate peak, but these guys beat the shit out of each other. It was exactly what you would want from Gunther and Styles, better than their first, which was great in its own right. The back body drop, the way that was executed really popped me. You could tell Styles was going out there and leaving as much as he could in the ring. He worked as if he was not going to have to use that body in the near future, and he broke out a ton of moves that he's used before in WWE, but not really put forward in regular matches. I'm right on the border between 4.5 stars and 4.75 stars, AA plus for this bout. Better than the John Cena retirement match. Not as perfect as it could have been. Doing the one last gasp, reaching for the ropes, that was classic. getting knocked out rather than tapping out. That was appropriate because he was trying to hold on to his career, whereas Cena tapped out because he was at peace giving up his career. Of course, it was completely inconsistent to do the arm nudge here as opposed to the arm raise and drop for Cena. These events were 6 weeks apart. They should have at least done the arm drop. Styles survives it, and then he gets knocked out. But I did enjoy the match. I thought it was, if it is the retirement match for AJ Styles, or if at least it's his final WWE match, he acquitted himself well. Gunther came out of this looking like an absolute monster, and it was a highlight on this Royal Rumble.
4.75 stars. A match of the year so far.
That's an A+.
1 month into the year.
That's an A+, not an A.
Okay. This was everything pro wrestling is about. Like this is, it's not about doing the biggest flippy moves or this or that, or having all the false finishes and all the finisher spam kickouts. This match was incredible. This is the match you show a student of, like, every part of this told a story. Like you said, AJ not giving up, trying to keep his career going. Like, Cena knew when his last match was. AJ didn't. It was a different situation there. I love Gunther as just the emotionless monster through the first half of this match. That is the Gunther I want. Not turning to the crowd and laughing and taunting and all this stuff. Just like, he's here to beat you up, and he's doing it. And the Styles fight back was awesome. Crowd was super into it. You had some good false finishes where I thought it was going to end and it didn't. You got not a ref bump, but a ref distraction, low blow, kicking out of the powerbomb. So much, everything about this was basically perfect, except the finish. It should have been the 3 arm drops. Why do you, like, I can't believe I'm still complaining about this when it looked like they had finally made 3 arm drop thing normal again. They did the 3 arm drop with Pat McAfee and Gunther. They did the 3 arm drop with Cena and Gunther. Why are we doing the just flap his arm around thing? Like,
I know.
You have to, in order for the 3 arm drop to work, it has to end matches sometimes. You can't only do it when you know the guy's going to pick his arm up on 3. And if anything, you do it once earlier in the match. On the 3rd one, his arm stays up. They do some more, and then you do it again, and the arm doesn't come up for the 3rd one.
Nailed it.
And that's shocking. That's a moment. It's so deflating for a pro wrestling match to end with tapping a guy's arm and the ref says, go, go, go. Nobody reacts to that. So that finish aside, otherwise this match was perfect. And it was everything you want from Gunther and AJ. It showed why they are 2 of the best pro wrestlers, honestly, still today.
Yeah.
And if that's it for AJ, that's a hell of a way to go out.
Classic professional wrestling match. Like, this is what, to your point, you study, you show people. When someone wants to know, why do you watch wrestling? AJ Styles and Gunther. That's why I watch wrestling. They absolutely freaking crushed it. And to your point, there was a springboard 450? Yes. There was a phenomenal forearm over the ropes outside? Sure. That was it. Everything else was ground-based
when you
offense.
When you don't do it very much, it means more when you do it.
Exactly. Completely right. Now, as far as the post-match, that was quite curious. People have suddenly been talking about AEW when it comes to Styles, almost trying to will it into existence despite evidence to the contrary, comparing it to the Daniel Bryan and Edge situations. But what I think people forget is that when they exited WWE, they didn't get retirement matches, and they weren't featured on major premium live events. They had matches on SmackDown that they lost. And that was it.
There's one person who got a big old farewell.
He got his own show, but it was not a premium live event.
Yeah.
It was not a premium live event. It was a special for the network because they wanted to get some traffic out of it at the end. That's what happened there. Also, different stages of existence of the company. But my read on Styles taking off his gloves and putting them back on is that he's done in WWE, but he's not done wrestling. And the only way WWE would let that moment happen on its own air is if he's going to TNA. The AMC deal, the WWE relationship, you end his career here, you give him a couple months to help reestablish that company, it would make a ton of sense. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is it. On the post show for WWE, they said he's retired. People were crying for him backstage. It was a whole, send off. Maybe he does go somewhere else and it's not TNA, but that is how I felt watching it transpire. It may have just been, no, I'm not taking off my gloves because my signature is wearing the gloves and doing, almost the diamond cutter sign, but, putting my logo together. Maybe that's all it was. But to me, it said, I'm not done wrestling. And if WWE is allowing that to happen on their TV, then in my opinion, that means TNA.
So like Mercedes Moné tweeted like, hope the rumors are true. Ricochet tweeted like he's something along the lines of AJ's garbage. He's not coming.
That was
just
yesterday.
Doing heel stuff.
So Ricochet and Ospreay in the last week tweeted shit like that. And Mercedes, these are people who all tweet for clout. Like it's
yes,
the most
100%.
obvious people. Yeah.
Mike Santana in TNA tweeted a picture of him sitting in a chair and AJ looking at him. So my guess is it's not over based on the way he did that with the gloves. I'm surprised they would go through all of this and make it a retirement stipulation and all that stuff for AJ to just like show back up like not too long in the future in TNA.
It does
like,
feel weird. Yeah.
It does completely, not completely, but it does very strongly just like nerf what Gunther did to him. Because they didn't say, like, there was one time they said retire from WWE, but that other than that, they've been saying retire, career, that's it.
They have, that's true.
And so, like, if he goes to TNA, cool. Like, I love AJ Styles and I'd love to see him keep doing stuff, but it would feel weird. Yeah, like it's not like someone has a retirement match and then 3 years later they're back. That's what normally happens.
What they could do is like he goes over there for some, I don't want to say authority figure role, but some type of move where he's there to motivate people and coach them up and try to like, get TNA on the right track again. And he meets resistance to it, and then like 3 months from now or whatever the case, it gets challenged into a match. And Styles is like, I'm retired. I'm not going to fight anymore. But he doesn't have a choice. And he has one last TNA match just so he closes his career in the company that made him. I'm not saying that's going to happen.
What's even the point? If you're going over there to do one match, what's even the point?
To get your face on their show, to increase the ratings and tell people this brand is trying to be relevant again. And so on.
That's, I mean, if AJ's going to keep doing it,
why not do it in
you
WWE?
Figure you'll really keep doing it.
Yeah,
otherwise, otherwise you just went out in the best match possible.
That's why none of this really fits together. And even with the gloves, we may be reading into something that just isn't there. And that's just what he decided to do in the moment. But you don't tease taking off your gloves and presumably your boots to then not do it.
I know.
Stop wrestling. So it was just weird the way it went down. They did need to clarify it. They felt the need to clarify it on the post show, and they did. They said he's retired. That's it. And maybe that's all it is. And maybe we're speculating for no reason. But this is a show where we analyze what happened on our screen. That happened on our screen.
Everything about it's been strange. Because like even the promo AJ cut on Friday, I was like, well, maybe he's not going to retire because he just like listed a bunch of people he wants to wrestle still. And I was like, well, you're going to give us that and then just not do it.
And Gunther also didn't do anything in the match where you'd say, oh, he cheated. I mean, he did do the mule kick, but the match didn't end there.
No,
he didn't do anything.
Just straight beat him.
Yeah, he didn't do anything where you're like, oh God, Styles really got screwed twice now. He needs to really get revenge, even though he retired. You could, make that work if you really have to. That did not happen here. This was clean. It's as clean as it could have been.
Right. And as for Gunther, like we'll get to the Rumble later, but up to this point, I'm like, all right, we're back on track with Gunther here.
Yes.
He beat Cena clean. He beat AJ clean. Last week, he gave us his reasoning for this. Mm-hmm. The video package was good on this before this match.
He looked amazing coming down to the ring with that music and everything.
The fans are kind of singing the music like I knew they would. I still don't like the robe. I like the jacket more than the robe, but that's nitpicky. But like, I'm like, all right, Gunther's like focused. He's winning clean. I'm going to just pretend that tap out against AJ a couple weeks ago just didn't happen because it was stupid. He's back on track here. And I'm like, all right, things are looking good for Gunther. As someone who has been criticizing, the previous
the last 2+ weeks for Gunther, they've rehabbed him back to where he needed to be coming out of Saturday Night's Main Event, retiring Cena. If Styles does not work for TNA, we'll end it on this. This concluded a run of insane, one after another, legend retirements from the top baby faces of the 4 biggest wrestling brands of the last era. Sting with WCW, John Cena with WWE, Hiroshi Tanahashi with New Japan, and AJ Styles with TNA, all inside of an extremely short period of time. Tanahashi, Styles, and Cena inside of 6 weeks. Sting, obviously, like a year and a half before that. Still, that is insane when you think about it.
Now we just need Gunther to retire Bully Ray, the Dudley Boys.
That'd be like a double up on TNA, but yeah, I wouldn't mind him retiring. Before we move on, Silver King does need to remind you that these days, whether it is Raw, SmackDown, or NXT, or premium live events like the Royal Rumble, I am all in watching on Netflix with NordVPN. It's easy to set up, a drastically better viewing experience each night. You get the same high quality streams, except they become commercial-free shows. All you have to do is sign up at nordvpn.com/gettingover, open the app, quick connect to another country like the United Kingdom, open Netflix and watch the program. It's crucial for events like the Royal Rumble, but it's great for all things WWE. NordVPN also allows you to get around online censorship or surveillance and protect your private data when web browsing. Plus, one NordVPN account can be used on 10 different devices. Get the best discount. Go to nordvpn.com/gettingover. Our link will give you 4 extra free months off the 2-year plan, and there's no risk. Nord has a 30-day money-back guarantee. So improve your WWE viewing, save some freaking money, browse safer online, and get the best discount for the best VPN at nordvpn.com/gettingover. Vintage, I know that you use NordVPN for the Royal Rumble. Your first time using it, what was your experience like?
Legit, I used it. This is the first time I was actually able to watch a WWE show on ESPN. And I have YouTube TV, but we don't have ESPN yet. So I reached out to you. I was like, hey, how do I get the NordVPN? It was great. It made it super easy. I can watch it on Netflix, the show. I will keep doing this. You've been raving about it for TV. I may start doing that too now. It was great. We have people in the Slack, the Getting Over Heads Slack, who have been using it while saying the same thing. It's great. If you don't want to deal with ESPN Unlimited and all that, I recommend this.
We do not push anything on this show that we don't believe in, number one. Number two, that was the last promotion for the whole show, so we're commercial free for the rest of the program. Now, let's move on to the WWE Championship. Drew McIntyre defending against Sami Zayn. McIntyre was interviewed on the Countdown Show because CM Punk talked shit about him earlier in the day. Drew took some shots back at him. The first thought in my head, Punk better not interfere in this G-damn match or I will lose my freaking mind. He did not. Spoiler alert. The crowd was obviously white hot for Zayn, who wore Arabian headgear. He sold an injured back on a tope con hero immediately at the start of the match. That led to a run of dominance for McIntyre. Sami intercepted a Claymore with a boot, then hit Blue Thunderbomb. Then he dodged another, put Drew in a crucifix for a false finish. McIntyre hit Avalanche, White Noise, and 3 straight Future Shock DDTs for an inside shoulder lift 2.9. Sami tried to chase Drew with a haluva kick, but McIntyre avoided it and hit a Claymore for a break with a toe on the bottom rope. McIntyre got distracted, arguing with the referee, eating haluva kick with a crawling cover for another 2.9 false finish. Some really close ones here. Zayn's back gave out ringside. McIntyre took advantage with a strong powerbomb that imploded the Saudi table. Drew yelled for him to stay down for his son because he doesn't have what it takes, but Sami was defiant, rising and responding with an exploder suplex. McIntyre intercepted haluva kick with a Claymore, but chose not to cover, regrouping in the corner and making Zayn look at him before hitting a second Claymore for a squeaky clean 1-2-3 to retain the WWE Undisputed Championship. Man, oh man, did I feel better about this booking once that final bell rang. McIntyre came across as a legitimately dominant champion, not only beating a top contender in his adopted second hometown for WWE purposes, but doing so in definitive fashion without needing to cheat or pull any bullshit. Zayn had his moments, but between the triple Future Shock DDTs and the multiple Claymores and that huge powerbomb, the goal here was to show that McIntyre was a legitimate and deserving champion and that Zayn fought as hard as he possibly could. Drew badly needed that elevation and establishment, given how he won the title in 3 stages of hell. It also worked for Sami. He was protected with the early bump that allowed him to sell his back, gave him a crutch for the entirety of the match. He has a reason not to be completely down on himself, while simultaneously, he has no one to blame but himself, and he has no choice but to eat that L. I truly believed we would get McIntyre Zayn at WrestleMania all those months ago, and I want to think that was originally the plan because, Silver King loves being right. But with a WrestleMania set for 2027, it now seems like WWE, they might be doing a 15-month storyline so he wins the title next year. If Royal Rumble next year is held in Montreal, then it's going to be an absolute no-brainer. Beyond all of that, this match was great. It was completely one-sided. That reduced how high of a grade it could achieve. But the entire point was to tell a story, perhaps even that Sami has hit rock bottom and needs to adopt an entirely new perspective to climb the mountain. It was his first loss in Saudi, Drew's 12th straight win, 12-0 in their series. McIntyre was cold as hell at the end, making Zayn look at him before eating the L. Ironically, I hate to use these terms given the location, the finish was kind of like an execution. This was borderline AA- 4 stars, 4.25 stars. I'll give you a final grade on Tuesday. But man, this was a hell of a bout. And just like Styles and Gunther, classic professional wrestling, storytelling throughout, and both guys looked great coming out of it. McIntyre even more than Zayn.
How does Zayn look good coming out of it?
He fought his ass off. He took 3 Future Shock DDTs, 2 Claymores.
Yeah, but he got destroyed.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
he got, it's rock bottom for him, but he did as much as he possibly could not to lose.
It wasn't nearly enough. I don't want to see Sammy. I don't want to go back to Sammy Drew for a long time now.
Oh, I don't want to ever go back to it, honestly.
Well, I mean, if you want Sammy to win the title,
he doesn't have to be Drew. He doesn't have to be Drew for the title, though. Not a year from now.
No, it doesn't have to. But that's the story to tell if you're going to do a 15-month story.
It would be ideal.
Like this was like fine. It wasn't that great of a match, but it also like kind of wasn't supposed to be, just because of what it was of the story it was telling. Like coming after Gunther AJ. I'm sorry. Gunther AJ. Like this was nowhere near that to me, but it ultimately wasn't supposed to be. So I was surprised the way it went, but I was happy with the way it went. I was like, okay, Drew looks good now. Hopefully we can stop Drew Sammy here for a bit. If you want to come back to the Sammy story, fine. But I don't know, man. Like, how many times can you keep going back to the Sammy's never won the title? But they showed a graphic before the match. I think he's 0-5 in world title matches now.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, I just kind of get bored of that. Now, obviously, at some point, you have to follow through on that. If he's going to, no more world title shots that he loses. The next one he gets, he has to win.
Absolutely.
And it probably shouldn't come for a while.
It should not come for 14 months to 15 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you're 1,000% correct on he can't fight McIntyre again until he beats him. And he can't fight for the title again until he's ready to win it. It can't happen again this year. It's not possible. And it wouldn't make any sense to do it at any other show than WrestleMania 43 in Saudi. I mean, if you're going to do it, you're having him hit his low here, and then you're going to have him hit his high 15 months from now. Like, that's the way to book it. And ideally, you're right, it would be McIntyre as champion, but you can't predict, what's going to make sense from a title reign at that point. So your two options are either he beats McIntyre for the title next year, or he beats McIntyre for the number 1 contendership. He's the final person he pins in the Elimination Chamber. There's a lot of different ways that you can kind of get, or he beats him on his road to reclaiming himself as a singles performer and then goes on to win the Royal Rumble. There's a lot of different ways you can do it, but you are correct in that he can't fight McIntyre again and can't challenge for the title again until he is ready to win. And neither of those should come for, I would say with Drew, at least 10 months, and the championship next year's WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think, I just wonder, like, can you get people up for a Sami Zayn is going to try to be the world champion story again? Now, you probably can if you're doing it Montreal and Saudi, but otherwise, like, I'm kind of bored of the story now. I don't know if there's anywhere else you can go. They've told it all.
It has to lean fully on creative. You have to be able to tell the story. Because is it naturally going to happen? I agree. I think like Chicago and New York and Miami and Dallas, you're trying to put Sammy over in those places. I'm not saying he won't get cheered. He will. He's hugely popular. But to be the guy they root for, it's going to be extremely difficult unless your creative gets him there. Who would have thought that Sammy would be so popular until he joined the Bloodline? Who would have thought that Jey Uso as a single star would have been so popular? It's all about creative. And if they can tell the story to get him to that point, then it is definitely possible. And there's plenty of stories that you can tell to get him there. But as of today, no, this is like almost rock bottom for him as a guy chasing the title. It should be.
And there will be other people we want to be champion. That's the thing.
There already are.
Are you good? Right. Like more than Sami Zayn.
LA Knight, Femi, Braun Breaker, all these guys. Yeah, of course.
It's gonna be a tall task to make people want Sammy again, is all I'm saying.
No, you're 100% right about that. But again, that is their job to accomplish that. And
if they do it, we don't know.
If they do it, everything we're saying could be completely incorrect. It's probably not, but it's possible. Let's move to the 2 Royal Rumble matches, the signatures of this show. We're going to start with the men's Royal Rumble since we're coming out of talking about the WWE Championship. Gunther was confirmed to be in this match on the kickoff Friday. Randy Orton announced on Get Up. That made it 17 before SmackDown started. Then Damian Priest got added on the show, became the only person to pull out a number, seemingly an early one. Talk about like an unnecessary announcement that doesn't move the needle. You don't need to announce that Priest is going to be in this match. Trick Williams got a promo on SmackDown saying his website is worldwidewilly.com, and it's a picture of him looking at you, charismatic as hell like usual, but he really needed to polish his glasses. Come on, Trick, just be better on that. The Miz and Ilya Dragunov.
He also said www dot. Who says that anymore?
Yeah, I don't know, but he's an old head, somewhat of an old head. Miz and Dragunov indicated they were in the match, and then Matt Cardona announced on social media. So for absolutely no reason, Chris, the men's match went from 17 to 22 with only 8 unknown spots and 73% of the field announced. As we said last week, if you want to pre-announce 50%, fine. A couple more, you want to get to 17 or 18? Okay, I can stomach it. 3/4 of the field is an absolute joke. It blows my mind that WWE cannot understand how to do this properly to excite its fans, or at least, if it's going to do it, announce people who don't matter as much and save the bigger stars for some of the surprises, especially if they haven't regularly been on television. So the build to the Royal Rumble, given 22 of 30 were announced, not only did it hit over on the total that we, projected out there, but also
Block at 0.
Blew past it. Hate it. I didn't see some of those, so lucky me.
Yeah, lucky you, I guess. And then, as if announcing 22 participants was not enough, during a match on SmackDown, production made a mistake. They showed a graphic that put Braun Breaker as the number 1 entrant. Yet another unforced production error by WWE. Paul Heyman then confronted Adam Pearce on the Countdown show, complaining that someone from the Vision got the number 2 spot, and Michael Cole subsequently said it was Breaker, even though I don't believe Heyman said that himself. I could be wrong about that. Heyman also threatened Pearce, saying he was effing around and would find out. CM Punk, who was on the panel, yelled as he walked away to shut up because they've been putting ping pong balls in those baskets since the 90s, which I thought was pretty funny. I enjoyed the Countdown segment. I'm not sure whether it was a cover for SmackDown or it was the plan all along, but Pearce and Heyman remain great together. I thought it was a strong way to push the storyline forward. Now, I don't mind one entry placement being spoiled. That was okay. But the number 2 spot is generally the first potential surprise. So it's pretty lame that it was specifically that number. And really, all of this being another WWE production error, it's getting absurd. While everything has improved markedly since all these big changes came, the quality control has straight up tanked under Lee Fitting. They need to get a handle on this shit and fast, because it's every single show that some mistake is being made.
Yeah, that I had missed that. I saw it later, and then I didn't watch the kickoff show, so I didn't see what Heyman had said at the time, but I saw people say Breaker. So I maybe it was spoiled it was Breaker or not, but yeah, it's very fractured, and it shouldn't be.
So Obafemi was number 1, which was a surprise in its own right. He's waiting for Breaker, getting serenaded to the ring. And here I am thinking, holy crap, we are about to start this Royal Rumble.
Oh, we got 2 big meaty men bumping me tonight.
As Breaker made his ring walk, however, a masked figure attacked him from behind, throwing him into the barricade and steel steps before rolling him into the ring for an immediate elimination. I'm not sure I've ever paused a breakdown for a Royal Rumble at the number 2 entrant, but what a freaking hot-ass start, Chris. Super unique, clearly meant to have the common fan believe it's Seth Rollins. My immediate thought was that it was Austin Theory, a friend being the one you would least expect. So not only was it exciting, it completely changed the trajectory and expectations for the match before it really began. I saw other people speculating it was Logan Paul because he was the one who suggested they all help Breaker win, but no, I still believe it was Theory. What did you think about the way this match started?
I thought it was Seth, and I was waiting for him to unmask, and I thought Seth unmasking was going to be a great moment. And then when the guy just left, I was like, well, now I'm just annoyed because I wanted to see Oba and Braun Breaker go head to head. And this is going to be a theme of my feelings on this Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things teased and giving you pretty much nothing out of it.
Yep, that is true.
And so, like, it when it happened and when Braun got eliminated and the mask guy was gone, I was not loving it.
So I was loving it because it felt fresh and exciting and different. The only thing I didn't like was that the mask guy stayed there. Because he stayed ringside, you're like, oh, you're going to unmask. Like, we're going to find out who you are. If he had done that and then run away right away, and then Breaker crawled his ass into the ring, I would have liked it a lot better. But I still enjoyed it.
Braun and Obafemi is new and fresh. That's what I wanted.
It would have been awesome to see that. But I mean, that's also like a WrestleMania, 46 main event in the future or something like that.
Yeah, but the guys can't not touch each other till then.
Yeah, well, I mean, they did. He threw him out. So Rey Mysterio was 4, wearing really corny Royal Rumble pants. He battled with Femi. Oba eliminated him along with Solo Sikoa and a returning Rusev, who got a light reaction. Then he caught Rough Rider and hit Fall from Grace. 5 straight eliminations to start. Priest obviously survived, with Javon Evans debuting at 8 with a big featured spot where he avoided eliminations and got the best out of both guys. Mr. Iguana was predictably 9. No one there gave a single shit. 2 of 8 surprises already done before 10 entrants. Both of them wasted. Priest double chokeslammed Iguana and La Yesca, the 5th female ever, by the way, in a men's Rumble match. Trick Williams was 10th, allowing the NXT call-ups to stand off and get requisite chance for Javon, Trick, and Oba. Cody was in way early at 11. Incredible pop. Rematch with Oba. El Grande Americano entered at 12. And then, I'm not even sure I understand this, but the original El Grande Americano entered at 13. I don't know. It was like seeing double. It was really, really strange. They both got eliminated in succession before Powerhouse Hobbs debuted as Royce Keys. Hysterical that Powerhouse immediately went up against Punishment Martinez and eliminated him. Then he had a moment with Rhodes. Reaction to Keys was minimal, but it was not necessarily the right crowd to respond to a debuting mid-carder who has never been in WWE before.
So
go ahead.
A couple things on this. I found it interesting. They put Powerhouse Hobbs' name on the Titantron and then switch it to Royce Keys. I was like, oh, that's actually a creative production way to do it, where if you know him, now you understand his name change. If you don't know him, you're probably just confused. But I thought that was like kind of an interesting creative way to do it. Commentary really sold him and tried to do the best it could. And Cole tried to tell some of his backstory while saying, like, we'll get to more of it later.
Yeah.
So that, like, for a new guy to come in, they did a pretty good job of like trying to tell you commentary wise that he's a big deal that you should know about. The Grandes Americanos of it all, they were both kind of almost unmasking each other. I feel like it would have been a great spot to do it.
It might have been.
I
agree.
We'll get, I guess we'll have them fight each other and figure this out. I don't know. The El Grande story, like, kind of gets very stop and start. And so if you're going to do it, do it. I would love for one of them to unmask the other, or both of them. Again, that was another thing teased in the Rumble. You didn't give it to us. We're not going to unmask somebody.
I mean, I don't know why you're sitting here wanting luchadors to be unmasked. That is so rude of you to be wanting that to happen. But that said, if you're going to do an unmasking, they should unmask each other simultaneously. It is probably the way.
Or even that. Yeah. Like that's. But I just hope this isn't like 3 weeks or something. We're not doing this. Anyway, that was that.
I'm just saying, so rude to suggest that luchadors should get unmasked like that. Ridiculous. Did you ever watch NXT Black and Gold back in the day? Like, were you a watcher of that?
Yes.
So the reason I ask is when Kenta debuted and became Hideo Itami, and when Fergal Devitt debuted and became Finn Balor, putting their original names on the Titantron and then flipping it to the new name, that's how they were introduced in Black and Gold. So that was a very NXT Triple H like recall. I don't remember if they did that with Kana into Asuka as well, but they definitely did it with those two guys. So that's kind of where that came from, that concept. And that's why WWE did it.
It worked. I liked it.
So Ilya Dragunov and La Parka entered at 17 and 18. Zero reaction to the latter. 5 of the 8. Okay. Go ahead.
So La Parka, this is, I believe, the third La Parka.
Yes.
The second one, I believe, is dead. The first one still around, but I don't know if he's wrestling. This is the third one. I feel like there's got to be a weight minimum if you're a La Parka. This was a way too skinny La Parka.
Had you not seen him before?
I've seen the old La Parka.
No, this guy. Have you not seen this guy before?
No, I saw. It must have been when I first moved to Texas, 2017. They used to do an event here. It was Lucha Libre Wrestling plus every local taco stand would have like a booth set up. It was great. And La Parka was at the first one I was at. I don't remember which one it was. It was one of the first two. But so I have seen him actually wrestle, but like you said, no reaction for La Parka, no reaction for Mr. Iguana. The Saudi crowd actually understood the AEW stuff, to their credit. I don't think they were probably watching that much Mexican wrestling though, right?
No, but they didn't even pop really for Keys either. I mean, they were putting we'll talk about it at the end, but they were putting the wrong people in this match. But they did Powerhouse and Hobbs and Cody together. Like the crowd, like
recognized.
They murmured about it for 5 seconds, and you're also
Yeah.
jumping ahead because I'm not there yet. So let me get to it. So where did I say? 5 of the 8 unnamed spots were already used by the time La Parka came in. Logan Paul at 20 concluded the Vision entrance. Reed tossed keys as part of 3 straight Vision eliminations. Real quick entrance and exit for Royce. LA Knight returned at 21. Massive pop. He eliminated Theory and Reed after a BFT. Brock Lesnar entered with Heyman at 22, immediately murking Rhodes, Knight, and Evans with German suplexes. Javon took an F5, but Oba went face-to-face with Brock as Miz refused to enter, and the crowd ganged up on the monsters. Lesnar no-sold Dragunov's chops, and then he just threw him out of the ring.
No, don't like that.
Brock hit a German on Oba, then eliminated Rey Fenix as soon as he entered with an F5. Femi got back at him with a lariat, but then forgot about Lesnar like a neophyte and just got thrown over the ropes. Lesnar then got eliminated by Cody and Knight during Jay's entrance. They completely hid this massive elimination. Uso got his dumb encore. It took so long that no fighting happened. Roman Reigns entered at 26. Roman called for another encore, and when Jay started doing it, he took an uppercut to the jaw as Reigns went on a run. Jacob Fatu was then 27, and I'm sitting here thinking, man, the Samoans really do get preferential treatment. 3 spots in a row? Like, what are we doing?
Okay, so a lot of things here. Take a pause. One, like, we got Bronson and Royce Keys face to face. Like, we're gonna get a big meaty moment, and they get attacked, and it doesn't happen. And I got annoyed by that.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had Brock and Obafemi face to face, waiting for them to just go one-on-one with each other in front of everybody. Didn't happen. You have the Miz entrance, and then you have people attack them. Didn't happen.
Well, they did fight each other a little bit, but it was very short. It was 10 seconds.
But they did, and it was way less impactful because of it.
Correct.
Like, the moment they see each other face to face in the ring, everybody's out. Let them go at it for 15 to 20 seconds before something happens. They delayed it, and then we kind of didn't really. It wasn't as big a deal when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. They did. It's 2 years in a row.
Yep.
There have been so many of these face to faces that they then don't do anything or do it later, and it doesn't mean as much. This has become a theme with the booking of this match for whatever reason. And the other thing is, every time we got a face-to-face, another entrant was coming in.
As soon as the face-to-face happened. The second it happened.
Every time.
Yep.
It was nothing got a chance to really build. And this is 2 Rumbles in a row where I felt like this, where it's they're not giving you things in the Rumble. They're teasing a million things and not giving you any of it.
Are you talking about 2024? Because the 25 Rumble was really good. The 24 that I was at in Tampa was horrible.
Might have been. The one I watched last year was in Indy. I was up in the press box for that because I was going down to the press conference afterwards.
That was a great Rumble last year. It was one of the better men's
Rumbles
last year.
It was, but maybe it was 2 years ago then. But it was not the first time I felt like this. And then the Brock elimination was insane.
Insane.
For so many reasons. One, why is it Cody and LA Knight doing it? 2, Jay's entrance was a minute long. How did that timing happen?
Yeah.
How do you make Brock Lesnar's elimination not a big deal? And I don't even know where it was supposed to go because it was such a long stretch, like I was saying, of the Jay intro. I don't know what was supposed to happen there. The camera almost missed it until he was falling out of the ring. That was a disaster that I don't... What was the point of any of it?
I'm not going to say he's the only one ever to do it, but I usually remember even people with long entrances getting down to the ring as soon as they possibly can in the Royal Rumble. The idea is to get in the match, start eliminating people because you know someone's coming behind you. And he's just taking his time, la-di-da, gets an encore, again in an important match, gets another encore when Reigns calls for it. Almost did, I guess. It was brutal. It was really a brutal stretch.
I don't understand any of the Brock part of it.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you.
None of Brock being there made any sense to me.
So Cody went right after Jacob. Fatu did a somewhat ridiculous pop-up Samoan drop on Javon before staring down Reigns.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Sorry to interrupt you again. Jacob Fatu throws him up and has to wait for him to come back down. I've never seen a Samoan drop like that. There's a timing to it all. Javon got up so high. Jacob was had to wait, and then that was crazy spot.
That spot and the backdrop from Gunther and AJ were 2 of the highlights, and they're basic moves, but they were awesome on this show.
Yeah.
Anyway, Roman combined with Jay for a 1D on Cody. That's Uso, quick to forgive even in the Rumble. Your cousin uppercuts you, and now you're helping him hit someone else. Knight got Reigns with a BFT, then countered Crossroads with an inverted DDT, only to get eliminated with a disaster kick. Boos when Knight got eliminated. Understandable. Randy Orton got serenaded at 29, catching Penta with an RKO off a springboard, and Gunther rounded it out, limping to the ring at 30. Orton caught an OG cutter for an RKO to bounce Javon. Cody and Randy teamed up against Gunther, but Rhodes misfired and hit a Cody cutter on Orton. Then, when Rhodes was hanging over the ropes, McIntyre eliminated him out of nowhere with a Claymore. Drew taunted Jacob, so Reigns took advantage and eliminated Fatu, then won a battle with Jay. Brief pause here. Loved the Cody and Randy moment. It was actually one of the few times during the match where there was a seed planted for something in the future. Yeah, there were face-offs and things, but Cody hurting Randy, Orton's going to be able to call that back if he does turn heel, and they end up feuding if Cody wins back the title at some point. That will be incredibly interesting.
Yes. Also, Cody Roman face-to-face didn't get to put hands on each other, I don't believe.
No, but if you're not going to fight this year, then you know what? Don't put hands on each other. That's the right decision.
They can touch each other.
We have seen enough. We've seen enough of it.
List of face-offs that didn't go anywhere.
Someone falsely reported that Cody and Roman was happening at WrestleMania. People were angry about it. I wasn't, but other people were angry about it. And then now people are angry that they didn't touch in this match. I'm not saying you. I'm saying other people. I just dropped my bottle cap. Excuse the noise in the background there. Anyway, that left the final four after Drew eliminated Cody of Reigns, Gunther, Orton, and Logan. Roman avoided the buckshot lariat with a Superman punch, eliminated him right away. Orton immediately caught Reigns with an RKO, but got eliminated by Gunther. That happened fast. That left Gunther versus Reigns for the first time ever. And I'm like, oh shit, this is going to be awesome. Gunther twice countered Superman punch into a sleeper. Reigns countered the second by ducking down and ramming him into the top turnbuckle. And then Roman speared him and threw him out of the ring to win the Royal Rumble. This was the complete opposite of the women's match, which we'll talk about obviously in a moment. It was more consistently booked from start to finish, but the final four did not make me feel anything. And WWE eliminated the interesting options way too early for my taste. Femi and Knight should have been there all the way until the final grouping. Most disappointing is that we did not get any real work between Reigns and Gunther. The match ended like 90 seconds after they were the final pair. That's okay if the action is red hot. But here they are, big, lumbering guys doing sleeper holds and shit, and you're going to end it in 90 seconds? It would have been far better for them to brawl like we saw, I want to say it was 2 years ago, Chris, with Gunther and Cody. Maybe it was 3 years ago when they were the final two and all of a sudden they had like a 4 or 5 minute match at the end.
Yeah.
That's what you want between Reigns and Gunther because they're probably not going to be fighting each other anytime soon. So there's no harm in actually doing that. Beyond the finish, between announcing 22 entrants and only one of the other 8 left over being somewhat of a surprise, despite a couple of returns, there were no real moments of like high-end excitement during the match. The best parts were the breaker attack at the open, Knight's return. There were a couple face-offs, but we barely got to see those come to fruition. That was your point. They were teases, but few deliverables. It was a perfectly okay Rumble, but not at all memorable like last year. And while I had no issue with Reigns winning on its own, it was not something that felt fresh and got you particularly excited for the closing moment. I'm speaking for myself. There were tons of people who are thrilled that Roman won. That crowd went crazy for him. I'm sure many United States crowds would have gone nuts as well. He's the biggest star in the company, and he is someone who you want main eventing WrestleMania. But when I see a Royal Rumble, I look for something fresh. And that's why, even though I didn't like, Jay as champion, and it wasn't what I would have wanted, Jay winning last year felt fresh. This just did not. And ultimately, the final stanza of a Royal Rumble is what is the most important. It is what you remember. This one was not memorable at all. It did not hit. 3 stars, B-.
Yeah, like it was a perfectly fine Rumble, but really just not that many memorable things. Like, what is the thing you're going to remember from this Rumble? Like, I remember Brock eliminating all those dudes in 2020, him and Keith Lee, Brock doing the big boy thing, Drew eliminating him. I remember Jey Uso winning what it felt like with Jay winning last year. There was just nothing that stood out because, like I said, everything was a tease. Nothing was a step further than that. There weren't even that many things that I thought, oh, we've got a big story coming out of the Rumble between this and this. Like, maybe Cody, Randy, but then Drew and Cody happened.
If
Drew's
Oba,
not even in the match.
If Oba had gone to the end, eliminated 8 to 9 people, and then gotten thrown over by Reigns, memorable.
Yeah, like I was just very surprised. However, I will say, when we got down to the final 4 and Gunther's in there and Drew had eliminated Cody, I was like, oh man, they're doing what I wanted to do. We're going to get Drew, Cody again. Cody's going to win the belt. Gunther's going to win this Rumble. And we're going to do Gunther, Cody, Night 2 of Mania, the thing that I wanted to happen. I was like, how do you make somebody more than Gunther retaining his title, retiring AJ Styles, and then winning the Rumble? Like, on top of having retired Cena and Goldberg. I was like, they're going all in on Gunther here. I'm good with this. I'm into it. And then he doesn't win. What was the point of having Gunther in the match? Because the last thing we saw from him is him losing.
So
it doesn't fully take away what he did retiring AJ, but it was like, why do that?
Yeah. So
why end Gunther's night like that?
I saw people saying that, wow, you put Gunther over Goldberg, Cena, and Styles so he could put over Reigns. That's not what happened. He was last in the Rumble. He didn't put Reigns over. He didn't get pinned by him. He got thrown over the ropes. And when he came to the ring, he was not just noticeably limping. He was clearly injured in kayfabe, right? Like they were saying, this guy is not 100%, but he's last in the match. They even said it on commentary, but he's last in the match, so he has a chance. If he was 15, he would have no chance to win this, right? And he still got to the final 2. But to your point, if he was not going to win, why put him in the match? It would not have hurt him anymore. It wouldn't have helped him. I mean, this didn't help him, is what I'm saying. And if it's not going to help someone, then there's no purpose for them to be in it. Why hold, let's say, Finn Balor, right, out from this match and have him? Why not put in someone else from NXT? Now, I understand there were 3 recent NXT call-ups there, but like Ethan Page could have been in this match, or Ricky Saints, or myriad other people from the WWE main roster could have been in this. Kofi Kingston could have been in the match. I know that's not like the most exciting person, but Kofi's great in Royal Rumbles, right? Or
just have somebody else at the end. When they announced Gunther was going to be in it, my thought was, well, we're going to get Gunther Brock in the match, and that's going to set up Gunther.
That's what we figured
Brock for Mania, probably. But then that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So I come out of this being like, what was the point of having Gunther?
That's the exact point. Gunther getting thrown out by Reigns was irrelevant. It did not hurt him at all. I don't want to hear anyone say that. It's bullshit. But it didn't help him, and being in the match didn't help him. And if you're not going to help him, then why have him be in the match when he had a great closing moment earlier in the show? It didn't hurt him, but did it? If he was at a 10 after the AJ Styles match, was he perhaps at a 9.5 coming out of the Royal Rumble? Yeah, he was. Like it knocked him down just a tiny little peg. But no, he didn't put over Reigns, and I don't want to hear that bullshit. Bonus.
No, but you could just have Reigns put somebody else in his spot, but have Reigns eliminate somebody else at the end, like a Randy.
It should have been Oba Femi. Oba should have gone the distance and then lost to Reigns at the end.
They did. I'm surprised they didn't have a young guy in at the end.
They did. They had Logan Paul.
Well, right, but that's 2 years in a row. I
know.
think Logan's in the final 4.
You know what that's telling you. You know what that's telling you. Maybe not next year, but soon.
And Cole made a point too when Gunther lost to say second time Gunther is the runner-up.
Yeah,
as if like he may have a win in his future in the Rumble, which maybe, but it was like,
or
he's a heel. That's
or as if it's an it's an accomplishment. Liv Morgan was a runner-up twice, finished 3rd, and then won. So it's fair to point that out, I think. And Cena was a runner-up last year. Those are notable things. And he gets to say, I would have won the Royal Rumble if I wasn't injured, and I didn't go against Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Bonus.
Again, just nothing memorable from this Rumble. Nothing, like, it wasn't bad. Like, I enjoyed it.
It was not bad. It was not bad.
I legitimately, when they got down to the final 2, I was like, I could see this going either way. And that's exciting. That feeling when there's 2 guys left and either one of them could win and they're both on the apron, that like the butterflies you feel, that's a feeling that's what makes the Royal Rumble so special. That's why it's my favorite event in all of pro wrestling. And I had that feeling at the end. So like, that was good. It wasn't bad. It wasn't anything. It wasn't anything. There's nothing that stuck out.
As it concluded, the final 4 took me down. The final 2 brought me up. And then it ending in 30 seconds brought me back down. Or 90 seconds, I should say. Sorry. It brought me right back down. I was like, oh, okay, Roman won. I wasn't upset at Reigns winning. Are you?
I was like, all right, like, I don't know who he's going to pick. I don't know where it's going to go. So
I was
intrigued.
upset at Charlotte Flair winning last year. I'm not upset at Roman Reigns winning. It's WrestleMania main eventer. It's his second Rumble win. The greats all have two.
So my brother hated it because Roman hasn't been around and there's not a natural story for him to pick up on. And I understand
he's got two
feeling like that.
He's got two natural stories with Punk and with Drew McIntyre. He's going to not do the McIntyre one, but the McIntyre story is strong as shit. And the Punk story a little bit less strong because they were more friendly than anything last year. But that is a story that they can pick up on for sure.
Yeah, there is a story still to tell. We got 3 months almost until the Rumble. They will. I have no doubt whether it's Drew Roman or Drew Punk or somebody. I'm sorry, Punk Roman or Drew Roman. Mm-hmm. I trust their ability to make me interested in that.
You're talking about legit promo battles between all those guys. Now it's all going to circle on Reigns appearing on television. Now he normally does when he's in the moment. I saw again sarcasm. Was he going to make 3 appearances between now and WrestleMania? I don't want to say this and then have to bite my tongue on the back end and be wrong about it. But no, when Reigns is in, he's usually in. He's showing up maybe not every single week, but like 3/4 of the weeks or 2/3 of the weeks at least. So I expect we're going to see plenty of Roman Reigns on the road to WrestleMania. And if that's the case, and you're building to a CM Punk feud, and these guys are going to be cutting promos against one another and doing segments and shit, it's going to be hot. I mean, that's a huge main event. You could argue, due to Punk's star power and Reigns' placement as the guy in the company, other than Cody Rhodes, but Reigns is still a slot above him. That's probably the biggest main event they could make for night 2. One-on-one.
One-on-one, yeah.
That's not repetitive. That's not repetitive. Cody and Roman would be the biggest. This is fresh.
Yes, and I do like. Well, when we find out who he's fighting, then we'll get into the details of it all.
Dude, if it's McIntyre and they pull that, I'm gonna lose my. I'm gonna be so excited if it's McIntyre Reigns. It won't be.
Yeah,
but I'd be so freaking excited if it was.
Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
Again, I think both of those would be cool. So that's why I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I just was like, man, if you're gonna have Gunther go all the way, really kind of hammer that home. And then the Gunther thing bothered me, but I didn't. Roman winning was like, okay, all right.
Some bonus thoughts before we wrap up the men. Femi getting eliminated by Lesnar, hated seeing it, but at least a beast took him out. And if they are indeed starting the booking for SummerSlam, fingers crossed, as I hoped, then I can stomach it. WrestleMania between them is obviously another option. On that note, there was not, as you said, a Gunther-Lesnar tease. I thought that was going to happen in this match. I figured they were going to fight at Mania. Maybe not. The Lesnar elimination was hidden. We talked about that. Oba could have gotten him out instead. I said that. Taking Breakker out early, it cleared the way for him out of the title picture to fight Rollins at Mania. Seth will likely get cleared in March. That makes a lot of sense to do it. Terrible decision putting AAA guys in this match. Questionable decision debuting Keys. I said that. Would have gotten a better reaction in the States. Anyone could have foreseen it. And outside of Keys, there was not a single legitimate surprise entrant. Incredibly disappointing. So it hit the over for, spoiled entrance, but it hit the under because it was 0 in terms of spoiled surprises. There was only 1 surprise combined in the 2 matches. 2, if you want to say Powerhouse Hobbs, Royce Keys, and neither of them were spoiled. So just so you know. And
no Chris Jericho.
No Chris Jericho, but it's believed his contract hasn't expired yet. It's also possible he doesn't go to WWE. There's been no confirmation that that's happening.
He also retweeted his band. They are on tour in Europe for the first half of February. Mm-hmm. So it's not something I think would happen probably this Monday. But yeah, that was something we were all waiting for. I kept hoping. I was like, maybe. It didn't happen. Disappointed. Don't know if he's going to come. 2 other things I noted. So they showed the graphics of past winners of the Rumbles. Mm-hmm. They showed Vince McMahon winning.
Interesting.
The 99. They showed Mr. McMahon with a picture
just a
of him
line,
winning the Rumble.
Just like a line on a graphic. You're saying.
Well, it was a picture of him, like a full screen picture of all these. They rotate them through, and one of them was Mr. McMahon.
Gotcha. Interesting.
So I was like, oh, interesting that they did that. And 2, I feel this about both Rumbles too. The rings are getting too crowded. Like there are times when we've got 10 plus people in there, and it really slows everything down, and the timing gets all off because when you try to have these one-on-ones, there's so many other people in the ring that it's a little bit distracting. And then the timing of people's. Someone came after Cody like 30 seconds after Cody.
Yeah, they're not equal. They're purposefully not equal. But
right
for the men, it was a much bigger. It was a much bigger problem for the men than the women. The women you didn't even notice it. For the men, it was noticeable.
Yeah, and so it gets too crowded in there. I feel like you need to eliminate more people midway through.
They were doing well, and then once Damian Priest came in, they said, let's just stop with eliminations. And then like 20 minutes later, we got the next elimination. That was a problem.
The eliminations mean less when there's more people in the ring. I think if there's fewer people, it makes each elimination feel like a bigger deal.
Absolutely, 100%. Women's Royal Rumble, let's move over to that. The final match on the card, really the first match on the card. Maxine Dupree announced on Brandy Rhodes' YouTube show, amazingly enough, and Kairi Sane was not an official pre-announced. That made it 17 before the show started, 57%. Much more palatable than the men. Still a few too many, but I could stomach it. If you want to do 17 out of 30 every year for both, that's fine. Rio backstage on SmackDown said that they plan to work together until the final two. Julia and Kiana James confronted with the Joshis arguing in Japanese. Nia Jax and Lash Legend then talked their shit hysterically. It necessitated flying all the way to Saudi Arabia for Kiana to actually dress like a businesswoman. Charlexa then hit the ring with Charlotte Flair being selfish, saying Alexa Bliss will help her win the match. Bliss obviously said the exact opposite, specifying that not everything is about Charlotte. It was really convoluted. Judgment Day thankfully interrupted in matching gear, doing a psych out about all going to the ring to confront them. So Aldis said, no. You're on the stage. You're going to be fighting, playa. So we had Charlexa against Judgment Day. Roxanne Perez did Three Amigos during the break. Lexi and Liv Morgan then did the rolling cradle counters, which was uniquely cool because they were both in all black with blonde hair. So you had to wait until it stopped to see like who was going to get the fall attempt. Charlotte got the hot tag, did her awful cartwheel lariat before landing a double moonsault. And when she cradled her body over the heels, did not touch either of them on a moonsault. That is tough to do. What the hell happened to Charlotte in the ring? The heels hit their codebreaker leg sweep combination that needs a name. Liv ain't natural selection. Stephanie Vaquera stopped a Raquel Rodriguez distraction. And Bliss hit Perez with Sister Abigail for the win. There was strong work here, but basically everyone other than Flair was solid and Charlotte really struggled. The fans did respond to her, though. Perez was the MVP, as is often the case, and this was just building toward the Royal Rumble. And lastly, Jade Cargill attacked Jordynne Grace backstage, but when she tried to talk shit over her body, Grace quickly respawned. They brawled between road cases until being separated. This did well to show that Jordynne is not to be trifled with like the other women. Jade can't bully her. I'm not ever going to get over her spamming "I'm that bitch" because she has nothing else to say, but Jordynne stopped her in the middle of saying it, so I kind of like that. Anyway, let's get to the Royal Rumble match itself. That, of course, all happened on SmackDown. Bliss and Flair started, feigning like they would fight before waiting for number 3, who was Kiana. Different, but not exciting start, especially considering number 3 got 0 pop. Kiana hit Nia with a super impressive Samoan drop. Lola Vice made her debut 6th and got some nice pops. Jordynne entered 8th with her dumb intro. She wrecked shop, got the first 3 eliminations. With Jax and Bliss battling on the apron, Flair booted Nia off, but failed to save Alexa in time, so she got eliminated too, her partner. Becky Lynch was 9th, immediately brawling with Charlotte. Sol Ruca debuted at 10, hitting a springboard 360 double clothesline. Roxy came out on fire at 11. Natty debuted, I guess, her new gimmick at least, at 13 with a much harder theme. She eliminated Lynch after Bex took out Maxine Dupree. I didn't have designs on Becky winning, but it did feel like she was out way too soon. Liv was 14th. Lash Legend was 15th, immediately eliminating Grace, which was odd. No reaction for Zelina whatsoever. Judgment Day came in full at 17. May be wrong. I believe fans chanted, "Thank you, Cena." Really disrespectful. Nice pop and gear of the night for Chelsea Green at 18. She looked incredible. She stood on Alba Fire's back for an elimination save. Julia, Io, and Asuka all followed. Asuka's entrance kicked major ass. Rhea at 22 was the only one to get pyro. Explosive pop for her. She eliminated Chelsea too soon, then countered Pop Rocks into a Razor's Edge elimination. Threw her out of the ring into a pile of women. That was great. JC Jane debuted at 24. Morgan had a cool inverted Oblivion elimination of Natty. Nikki Bella was out at 25, another Cena champ, but she sold it well. Lyra Valkyria was 26 with the crowd real hot for her. She eliminated Julia. Kalani Jordan debuted at 27, immediately hitting a Phoenix Splash and double tornado DDT on Judgment Day. Kairi was in after all, but she quickly and accidentally eliminated Asuka in a well-done sequence. Then Io eliminated Kairi immediately afterward before Brie Bella returned at 29. Great. First match in 4 years. Crowd pop.
Huge pop.
Massive pop for her. Yes chance.
Yeah.
The whole 9 yards. One of the biggest pops of the entire night.
Yep.
Tiffany Stratton returned at number 30 with a Swanton bomb, rekindled with Flair. Bayley and Lyra was simultaneously eliminated by the Bellas, which nearly sent me off the deep end. Ruka thrilled with Soul Snatcher on Jane for a dead body toss over elimination. Legend then eliminated both Bellas. Fans did not like that, but she looked strong as hell. Even stronger when she booted Flair on the apron and nudged her to the floor like she was nothing. The final 7 were Liv, Raquel, Io, Rhea, Sol, Lash, and Tiffy. No arguments whatsoever from the Silver King. Solid 7. Io was literally hanging onto Legend's leg on the apron, only to take a heel kick to the stomach to get eliminated. Super creative. 4 straight eliminations from Lash. All of a sudden,
Big meaty man slapping meat. That's what I want.
Legend blasted Ripley and Rodriguez before getting eliminated by Rhea, who immediately took a Tahana bomb over the ropes onto the apron for an absolutely insane elimination. I said spot of the match in my notes. It might have been the spot of the entire night. Morgan then screwed her partner, Raquel, before celebrating right in her face without any remorse. Crazy sequence here. That left Liv, Tiffy, and Sol. These 3 picked up the pace massively. Morgan kind of no-sold prettiest moonsault ever. Ruka hit a double soul snatcher, tried to take both of them out, but all 3 of them wound up hanging on the top rope outside. Ruka tried a soul snatcher on the apron. Stratton thwarted it, ran her into the post. Then Liv caught Tiffy with Oblivion, sending her to the floor as she hung onto the rope to finally win the Royal Rumble in her 9th try.
Oh, yes! I love that!
That after 3 straight years of finishing in the final 3. Hell effing yeah. Hell effing yeah, man. The final 7 of this match kicked major ass. It started slow as hell, and while it had its peaks and valleys, it was not until those final few entrants that business truly picked up. Once it did, it was hot as hell through the finish. There were solid character and storytelling beats at points. The goal late was to put Lash over as a beast, to feature Rodriguez, to flash Sol as the future of the division, and create a scenario for Liv to not only win, but begin true animosity with Raquel. Missions accomplished, all 4 of them. It was a great match in terms of pacing and the booking to have Io and Rhea eliminated before the final 3 so the focus could be on newer stars and the winner. Otherwise, people would have booed when they got eliminated. They just absolutely nailed what they were trying to accomplish here in every possible way. And Liv winning, talk about someone deserving a moment like this. 2nd place in 23 and 24, 3rd place last year. 2nd place in the Raw Battle Royal that Becky Lynch won to become champion. 2nd in the Elimination Chamber. Battled back from multiple injuries, among the most over and improved women in the entire company. The right winner, the right finish, and one of the best final stretches in any Rumble. They absolutely rocked this at the end, Chris.
Yes. And like I said this on the preview, but like Liv has had moments. She's a multi-time world champion, Money in the Bank winner, beat Rhea at SummerSlam. It's not that she hasn't had...
Beat Ronda Rousey 3 times?
Yeah, it's not like she hasn't had stuff happen to her, but I don't think she's won a singles match at WrestleMania either. So this is like the last real hurdle for her to climb and something she'd been so very close to. We both picked her to win. I assume she was the heavy favorite to win. Well-deserved. I was surprised when she eliminated Raquel that there wasn't like any no apology or even like, sorry, you kind of got to do that.
She laughed at it almost. Yeah.
Right. Like I was thinking maybe she'll do that so then they can make up on Raw, and then eventually if Raquel wins the title and Liv challenges her, then it's more of a shock. But this was almost like not a full-on breakup, but it's going to be hard maybe for them to kind of stay together after this. I'm curious how that goes on Raw, but I am looking forward to that. So Nikki Bella enters, and the camera cuts to some girl in the crowd, but her head is turned.
Yeah.
And my thought was, oh, that was probably Brie Bella. And she wasn't looking at the camera at that time, and they missed it. So then when Brie Bella then comes in, I was like, wait a minute. I was not expecting that. And then they show the girl. It must have been, I don't know if it was Nikki's daughter or somebody, but they went back to the same girl to show her. The Bellas were crazy over here. Like you said, Brie Bella maybe got the pop of the night. Have to give credit to what that is. Elsewhere, Jordan Grace's spine buster is awesome. Like that's almost like Arn Anderson finisher type of spine buster. It looked really, really, really good. I think this match also had the issue of too many people in the ring at once for like a very, very long time. That was frustrating, especially because when they're all wearing the bodysuits, it was kind of hard to tell at times who was who, or at least I forgot who was who. Did you have that issue at all?
I didn't really have an issue, no. I mean, I agree, obviously, that the women having to be full body clothed was difficult, but so many of them were really inventive and stand out in what they were doing. Like Chelsea, you could tell immediately. Jordan's was so multicolored. Charlotte stood out. Lash Legend, you couldn't miss her. I think she was in purple, right? Bellas, obviously in bright red, stood out. But there were a lot of women, though, who wore black, and those did kind of mush together a little bit.
Well, right. When there's 10, 13 people in the ring, then it becomes who's wearing that one again? Who is wearing that one? And
like the final three, they did all kind of look different, but they were also three blonde women. And usually all three of them have very unique different gear. And they just did not here. It was much more similar.
Which is 100% not their fault. It's the government of Saudi Arabia.
100%.
And what women can show. Like, that's very much the issue there. It was something I felt. But shout out to Chelsea Green promoting free speech and free press and print journalism with the Chelsea Chronicles newspaper outfit. I thought that was pretty great.
Love that.
Natty's new entrance theme. I'm first glance, I'm into it.
Yeah, kind of good. Like shockingly great. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So that was interesting. And then similar to the men's, it was always somebody getting eliminated like seconds before somebody else enters. And that made a lot of the eliminations not as impactful because we were quickly on to the next thing. Yep. Like they didn't get to breathe. So that's just, again, a timing thing, but it seems to be the way WWE kind of does it. I don't know.
Some bonus things here. It's going to be interesting to see come Raw on Monday what happens with Judgment Day. Liv was not at all apologetic, eliminating Raquel, as you mentioned. Does she cost Rodriguez the title? Does she infuriate her and kind of create the opening for a triple threat at WrestleMania? Does Morgan perhaps help her beat Vicaire? Does she win on her own Raquel and then get challenged anyway in a babyface turn for Raquel and a further heel turn for Liv? There's so many ways this can go. It's the right stuff so far. It actually does have me anticipating Raw even more for this women's storyline specifically, because Raquel in this match, they told you, if you didn't believe it already, we believe in this woman. She's going to be a main eventer and she's going to hold one of these world titles probably sooner than later. If they booked her this way to strap her up on Monday, makes all the sense in the world. If they booked her this way, made her look strong, to ever get screwed on Monday, again, makes all the sense in the world. So this is going to be a hot ass storyline going into WrestleMania. You can bet on that.
Is Raquel Stephanie scheduled for Monday?
Yeah, it's the Philadelphia Street Fight title match.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So
because the match is no DQ, anything could happen. Liv could help her or Liv could cost her. I mean, there's so many different ways it can go. I'm really excited about that for Monday.
And also because last year, if I recall, they pretty much had the Rumble winners announce their people within like a week or so. Or I think Charlotte may have been like attacking Tiffany for like a month before she announced
Charlotte
it.
And Tiffany, I'm actually upset you brought it up again. That's how terrible that was. It took a while.
It was very clear within like a week or so. I think it was the second week that Jey Uso announced who he was
But this
picking.
is clear too. I mean, this is pretty clear. Like Liv is not going to be going after Jade Cargill. I mean, she did. Did she beat her? I'm trying to think. Who did she beat at Crown Jewel? That was Nia Jax, I think she beat. Yeah, not Jade. She's not going to go after Jade. Yeah. She's going to go after either Stephanie or Raquel. It makes the most sense. And Reigns could choose McIntyre. We're hoping he does. I mean, I'm hoping he does because I think it'd be awesome. But he's going to pick SmackDown. He's going to pick Punk, though. I mean,
you think so?
I guess McIntyre's feuding with Cody and Jacob right now. I mean, it's pretty clear that's going to be a triple threat.
Yeah, it is.
So it's clear is what I'm saying. What's going to happen? Yeah.
I'm interested at least. I'm curious how long they drag that out because sometimes they do. Sometimes it's too obvious. Last thing about the Women's Rumble, the problem they have every year. Nobody knows any of the women's entrance themes. And so every time a buzzer hits, it takes like 5 seconds before we realize who's coming in. It remains a problem. It has been a problem pretty much since the women got the Rumble. And it was very evident again here where they don't get the pops except for the handful whose music we know.
Yeah. And it's a problem for the men too, just less of an issue, but it's a huge problem for the women. Bonus thoughts here. Ripley bumped her ass off. The elimination with the Hana Bomb was insane. There were some inventive exits for multiple women, including the Razor's Edge of Perez. I truly wish Bayley and Lyra lasted longer, especially Lyra. It felt way too quick for her to come in at 26 and then get eliminated soon after that. If you want her to get eliminated at that point, then bring her in at like 6. I mean, she's young. She can work and people like her. Why didn't she get more time in the match? That was really surprising. I'm okay.
Also,
I'm okay with WWE seemingly creating a feud for them against the Bellas. But after the way they've been marginalized in this division recently, there better be way more than that ahead of them for WrestleMania. Like, they really should be winning the titles at WrestleMania.
Well, I was going to say, because Brie Bella's got a shirt now, WWE did that, which means maybe Brie's hanging around for a minute. And Wade Barrett had said that they were like the first modern women's tag team or something like that. He said when Brie came in. So they have in eliminating Lyra and Bayley, like maybe not Mania or something, but there may be a feud there.
Yeah, I'm okay if that's a TV feud. That's fine. As long as Bayley and Lyra are the ones who get elevated coming out of it. In terms of them being the first real women's tag team, I mean, definitely not in totality of wrestling. In WWE, I mean, they're up there. They certainly had a tight relationship. Obviously, you had Beth Phoenix and Natty were together, and they were serious together for a while. So I wouldn't say it's just them, but I mean, yeah, I mean, they are up there for sure. And I'm okay if they're involved. If there's a 6-woman TLC match, 6-team, excuse me, and they're one of those teams, it's probably okay, as long as Bayley and Lyra don't get excluded. That's pretty much all I'm saying.
Also, when Brie came in and was doing the kicks, Cole said she's doing the kicks. They're not the it kicks, but, basically is what he said. So he didn't say Daniel Bryan this time.
Ridiculous. Kiana was surprisingly strong in the early portion of this match. They just got to fix the gimmick. They may actually have something with her. Surprise absences. AJ Lee and Bianca Belair. AJ not going over there, it does make some sense. And also, why bring her back if she's not going to win? If she's going after the Intercontinental title, a lower strap, they could have gotten it going a little bit with Becky, but they're doing a storyline. But they're doing a storyline with Natty and Maxine, and there's going to be some type of defense against Natty, most likely, and then they'll probably get to AJ in February or March. I'm okay with that. Belair not being part of this match, Chris, it's concerning. It's been more than 9 months since her finger injury. She's still unable to compete. If you're bringing her back, if she's healthy, she's back in this match. It makes no sense to bring her back, Monday or Friday. I'm wishing Bianca the best. She is badly missed. This women's division is crazy strong, and yet she is still badly missed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you would say you don't bring her back if she's not winning it. I think, I think that would be a reason to bring her back. You have somebody eliminate her, and there you have a story.
No, what I was saying is, if she was healthy, not putting her in the match wouldn't make any sense, which means to me she's not healthy.
Agree.
Is what I'm explaining.
Agree. Yeah. I agree. I don't know, obviously, if it's just still the finger or what, but just hope everything's okay with what they are.
Truly do.
I did think the women did a much better job of forming and telling break-off stories out of this Rumble.
100%.
Like you can, that's where like you could have had AJ in to deal with a Becky thing or not, but they like address, there were a lot of connective points throughout the match, and the men I didn't think really had that.
Mm-hmm.
The men's was more like a quick pop, because Powerhouse Hobbs and Cody are together, or we're gonna put these two guys face to face but not do anything.
The men's match was, you want to see these people standing off from each other so you get to see them. The women's was, we're building matches for TV and for WrestleMania. And here they are. And here they are. I mean, I don't know that we're going to get Asuka and Kyrie in a match, but that developed. Io was overlooking that happening and didn't like what she saw and was concerned seeing that. Natty, Maxine, and Becky, the Bellas and Bayley and Lyra, and so on and so forth. Like Liv and Raquel, obviously. So, no, it's no question. This was way better booked, top to bottom, than the men's match. And I was thinking coming out of this, man, this match was great. The men are going to blow this away. It's star-studded, and they didn't. In terms of a match grade, I forgot to give one. It's tough because the first half of this was so damn slow and plodding, but business really picked up at the end. The final third, I'm not sure the final third of this match could have been better. The finish was excellent. I'm at 4 stars, A-. It is tough to get an A on a Royal Rumble. The men last year did. More excitement early, both in terms of entrance and sequences. It would have gotten it done, but I feel like an A- is really appropriate and respectful for what was a high quality match.
Yeah, I think I'd give the men a B, the women a high B+. I think.
Okay.
Maybe a low A-.
And just real quick before we get to the grades here, early guesses at the WrestleMania card from the Silver King coming out of this. World Heavyweight Championship, CM Punk against Roman Reigns. WWE Championship, Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, and Jacob Fatu in a triple threat. I would have Jacob win Elimination Chamber and then have Cody just be the person who deserves it. Don't have Cody win the number 1 contendership. Jacob needs to get something. Women's World Championship. I'm saying Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan, but of course it could be a triple threat. Could be Liv and Stephanie Vaquer instead. Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker. Makes so much sense coming out of the men's match. Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar. Just given the tease in the match, I hope this is SummerSlam. I hope Oba is the one to retire him, but it doesn't seem like we're getting Gunther and Lesnar, at least based on the match. I'm just saying based on what happened here, and then some type of huge women's tag team match. So that would be 6 matches already for the WrestleMania card. Chris, out of those, any that you think definitely won't happen, or do you mostly agree with that?
So you didn't list Gunther there, right?
I didn't, because I don't know what the hell he's doing.
Yeah, that's my big question. Because it was a star-making-ish another performance for him. He's one of the big stories coming out of the show, and so it's interesting to not really know where he's going. I'm not sure. That's where like you could do Gunther Brock maybe instead of Oba Femi Brock. I don't know. Cody Drew Jacob. Like if we do that, like, are you that interested in it? I'm like really out on Cody Drew.
I'm out on Cody and Drew with Jacob. It's gonna be a pretty great match. I mean,
yeah,
that's gonna be cool.
Yeah, and then Punk. If it is Punk Roman, it makes me further believe that Punk didn't need to be in the match last year. Like if Punk's first main event for WrestleMania was this, that itself would be like, that's a natural story. They didn't really like the Seth Roman Cody CM Punk story last year was kind of all over the place with the favor and this and that, and then it was about Heyman, and it was like barely about CM Punk getting in the main event. If you were doing it the first time this time around, I think that would have been a great natural story to tell. Now you don't really have that, so it'll work. I don't know. Like, it's all good. Everything you said there was good. I'm trying to see if there's something that's like even bigger, and maybe there's not.
I agree with that general sentiment. The problem is that they never would have known last year that they'd be here, because this is all getting changed because Seth Rollins got injured. Seth Rollins was going to go into WrestleMania as champion, probably fighting CM Punk in the blow-off match. And that probably would have been a night 1 main event, possibly. Yeah. So this is all being changed because of Rollins specifically. And they never would have known that they're going back to Punk and Reigns. So I agree, though. If they had known that this was going to happen, they didn't need to do it last year. But don't forget, last year's match was sick. The finish was awesome. I think I gave it 5 stars, A+. I mean, that shit was banger.
And like Punk's on the main cover of the video game. So like company's all in.
They are
with Punk as face of the company guy. So like night 2 main event, I guess it does fit for him.
All right, Vintage, that wraps up our WWE Royal Rumble instant analysis. All that does is leave us with our grade segment. First, we're going to go over our pre-show expectation grades for the Royal Rumble, and I didn't write these down, so please tell me if I'm incorrect live as we do this here. I believe Silver King said a 91 out of 100, an A- was my expectation coming in. You were at a 94 out of 100, a flat A. You were very, very positive and optimistic about this show. All of our listeners are getting overheads, Chris, as usual. They fell right between us. 56% in the A range, 38% B plus to B, 4% B minus to C plus, 2% C or lower. That averaged out to a 93.1 out of 100 in A. So they were closer to you than the Silver King. The expectations across the board, though, were an A range for the Royal Rumble. As always in this post show, you have the opportunity to go first and give your final grade. How do you believe the Royal Rumble transpired on Saturday?
I'm between 2 grades. I'm going to go 93, low A. I was very on the edge of an A- versus an A. I'm going to go low A because as I look at it, nothing bad. We got a match of the year contender with AJ Gunther that had the highest stakes possible. You know, I want stakes. We had a championship match, and we had a winner and live, which was great, and a great finish to that match. And the men's Rumble was fine. Wasn't bad. Nothing on this was bad. Couple things were really, really good. Low A.
So I largely agree with your analysis there. I was on my way to giving this show an A if the men's Royal Rumble fully delivered, but it didn't. And because it's only a 4-match card, and I have one match that, you know, my initial grade right now is a B-. And when we do our second look on Tuesday and we kind of rehash this and you know, give any additional thoughts we might have, answer questions and comments, rewatch some of these matches, maybe it will change. But I had, you know, the men's Royal Rumble as a B-. Despite that, the other 3 matches on the show, they did exactly what I wanted them to do. Now, what I mean, of course, is I would have preferred AJ Styles not retire, but that match was incredible. And that was what was most important, that it was great. McIntyre winning the way he did, exactly what I wanted, what I believed needed to happen, and what I think was actually the most entertaining. The crowd really enjoyed that match. And the women, like I said, any Royal Rumble has its peaks and valleys. The end of that was fantastic. When I say it was one of the best finishes to a Royal Rumble, I'm not like joshing around. I mean that. It's probably a top 5 finish to a Royal Rumble when you're talking about the final 7 or 8 competitors all the way until the end. They absolutely crushed it, but the men, they just didn't. And it wasn't the guys in the ring. It was the booking and the creative around the entire thing. So I'm really borderline here. I'm glad you came a little bit down because I didn't believe this was anywhere close to a 94 show, which to me is a firm A. Your 93 is borderline A minus. And that's pretty much where I fall as well. I'm going to say, you know what? I'm just going to stick with my grade. My expectation grade coming in 91 out of 100. It was just the men's match did not deliver enough. It's the main event. It's the most important match on the show. I hate to say it. I love women's wrestling. I love what the Women's Royal Rumble does. But the men's match and building the main event of WrestleMania is the most important thing. And it didn't fail, but it didn't succeed in so many ways that you individually pointed out. So I'm at a 91 out of 100. It met my expectations. It fell slightly below yours. Our listeners, Getting Overheads, had an opportunity to vote on social media. And I found these results incredibly interesting, especially because we had so many votes, more than usual. And I got some replies in DMs like, hey, Silver King, do you think people troll voted your poll? And I don't know. It's social media. Like, it's possible they did. It has happened before. But I am surprised at some of the numbers here. So 17% A plus to A, 38% A minus to B plus, 25% B to B minus, 20% C plus or lower. That averages out to an 89 out of 100, a B plus. So way lower than both of us, way lower than the expectation.
Well, not way lower.
Well, I mean,
it's only 2 points lower than you.
2 points lower than me, 4 points lower than you, a totally different letter grade. I don't know if that is, I'm not saying it's not accurate, but to get 20 to 21% C plus or lower for that, Chris, that's not reasonable for that show, given, even if you just were talking about, let's say you didn't like McIntyre and Zayn and how dominant Drew was, the Women's Rumble and AJ and Gunther, that alone makes it a B plus show. And then everything else,
yeah.
That makes it that puts it at an A level show. And then if you want to downgrade it a little bit, you can, but I don't know. I find 20% C plus or lower to be a pretty ridiculous grade for this Royal Rumble.
That is probably some troll voting for Roman winning, which I saw a lot of
too. Yeah.
internet people, pointing, laughing at WWE for doing that.
That happens a lot, by the way. That happens a lot with our polls, by the way. If people don't like the main event, it gets worse grades than all of the responses we get during the show that are usually very positive. Not usually, sometimes very positive. And then if the main event isn't good, then all of a sudden, the whole show sucked.
Well, and people remember how you send them home.
They do.
Some people are tired of Roman Reigns, and that's fine. But on the whole, like, I'm not mad about Roman winning. Like, I think you could have done something better.
Not mad,
but I'm not like, man, like, this isn't 2015 Roman Reigns. And
second year in a row, though, we've come out of the Royal Rumble where we've said, last year we said, hey, the Jay thing was really exciting, but it also wasn't what we wanted. So it's the second year in a row that someone won the men's Royal Rumble where we're like, eh. And then for me, last year, Charlotte Flair winning the women's Royal Rumble, I was pissed.
Yeah, but Jay winning last year was totally new and fresh in a response to what the fans wanted.
And that's why I was okay with it and why it was still exciting, even though I didn't like it. And it was not what I wanted, I should say. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, look, that wraps up this edition of the Getting Over Wrestling podcast. As mentioned, we will be back on Tuesday, not only talking everything else from SmackDown and the entirety of the Raw after the Royal Rumble, the start of the road to WrestleMania. We'll also give you a second look at the Royal Rumble. We'll answer any questions or comments that you send, whether it's via email, gettingoverpod@gmail.com, or via social media, Twitter, Blue Sky, @GettingOvercast. And if you follow us on there, you can not only vote in the polls and send us questions and comments, you get episode drops, news, analysis, highlights. So make sure you follow us. Make sure you also subscribe over on YouTube. You can listen to all our episodes. And of course, you can watch full-length video interviews across the board on social media @GettingOvercast. So we'll be talking WWE on Tuesday, NXT, and AEW on Thursday. We hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you did, you can remember,
It's all about Defy.
Head over to Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Leave a 5-star rating on Apple. Take a little extra time. Leave a 5-star written review. If you do, we will read it live right here on the show. And lastly, don't forget,
I happen to love the number 5.
hope you do as well. $5 a month, $50 for the entire year. You can become an official Getting Overhead. Just visit buymeacoffee.com/gettingover. Sign up. You'll get bonus audio, the fastest 5 minutes in professional wrestling, instant reactions to every major show, and exclusive news analysis posts every week. Again, buymeacoffee.com/gettingover. Support us as we continue pumping out performance-enhancing audio for your ear holes on the road to WrestleMania. Vintage, great to have you on an instant analysis, drink in hand at all. First time in a long time we've been able to do it. You're here all the way through and past the road to WrestleMania through the end of 2026 and beyond, I hope. That's it for today's show, though. We did a lot and covered a lot. We're late into the evening. Let's get this damn thing published. For Vintage Chris Manini, this is the Silver King, Adam Silverstein, signing off and leaving you with just 3 final words. Bye for now.